What's going on, ladies and gentlemen and ladies? We got another crazy show for you. We got some Iran updates, and Scott Jennings cooking like he normally does. Stephen A. Smith going on to the Hannity show was an incredible, I think it was an incredible show. We have to talk about that. Dak Prescott dodged a bullet. Shout out to my boy Dak Prescott, not getting on that child support and that alimony. All right, and we got the Dummy of the Week, which is our new series. We'll show you what that is at the end of the show. Before we get to any of that, we got to talk about Mom Donnie's house getting evacuated. Welcome to the Office Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. All right, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. I got a couple updates for you real quick, and then we're going to get on to Mom Donnie with his sorry self. First of all, thank y'all all for joining the membership program. This has been an excellent few weeks of us launching this and having new levels and everything like that, and I want to thank you guys for being a part of that. If you're not a part of the membership program, here's what we have to offer. So you can become a rookie. You know, you have emojis. You have a membership-only chat during the live streams, or you can become an officer. You get everything that you got when you were a rookie, early access to videos, members-only polls, and post-show access, which is the post-show clarity show we do after every live stream show. You can become a commander, where you just add in 30% off discounts on the store and exclusive content, and then you can become a deputy chief, which we have a few deputy chiefs right now. Shout out to y'all. You can get member shout-outs, first dibs on exclusive autograph merchandise, special Q&A once a month, and early access to events. All right, so if you haven't joined, hit the join button, join the membership program today. It really helps us sustain the channel because, as you can see, y'all watch my videos, one at 50,000 views, 300,000 views. You know, it's just so flip-floppy that the dedicated people that love the channel, that want to help out with the channel to make it sustainable, the membership program is for you, and we're going to do some things for you with that. All right, let's get right into Mom Donnie and his sorry self. What a sorry mayor. And I'm going to tell you this, breaking news. Allegedly, well, it's not allegedly, it actually happened. His mansion, the mayor's mansion, got evacuated. But I think it's staged. Let's listen to the news report, and you're going to see why. Roll a clip.
We are seeing that now live outside of Gracie Mansion here in New York City. CB, what are we learning?
Hey, Sandra. Well, we are here in New York City's Upper East Side neighborhood. We're actually a couple blocks down from Gracie Mansion, which, yes, is the home of New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Right now, officers are investigating a suspicious device that was found in a popular park nearby called Carl Schurz. We've seen officers block off this area to traffic, and we've got members of the NYPD bomb squad and another command unit that are out here. Again, a suspicious device was located in a nearby park. Someone called it in. I'm told this by a police source, and now officers are investigating. No one is being allowed to drive through this area. And we've also seen, we've also noticed that officers have bomb sniffing dogs that are moving through this area on side streets, going by homes just to look and see whether anything suspicious is uncovered. Obviously, this comes at a very heightened time for people who live in this area because we know a terrorism investigation is underway after the FBI says two suspects brought homemade bombs to an anti-Muslim protest in New York City on Saturday. Thankfully, neither detonated, but police have said one of them could have caused a devastating loss of life because it contained a substance called TATP. We also know the investigation into these two suspects has now expanded into Pennsylvania, where police say the two men were from. We know overnight there was a controlled detonation.
All right. So I think we had enough of that clip. That's just a little bit of a briefing. I was thinking this to myself. I said, could this be staged? Here's my thought process. I'm not saying that it is. It very well could not be, right? You can't really control random people doing random things. It's quite ironic that there was a literal terrorist attack that occurred yesterday and then, or over the weekend, And then all of a sudden, to kind of cover up, in my opinion, or overshadow the minimalization that Mamdani did with that terrorist attack, all of a sudden his residence is being evacuated for an unknown substance. It wasn't confirmed that it was a bomb. It wasn't confirmed that it was anything significant, to be honest. It was a suspicious package. What happened over the weekend was confirmed. They admitted to it, and they admitted to their plot to make it bigger than the Boston bombing. That's the only reason why I entertained the idea that maybe, just maybe, this could have been something staged to cover up what had happened. But there's very reasonably the case that it probably didn't. Now, that was a quick update. I wanted to just let you guys know that happened. There's nothing really new to add to that, nothing more expansive on that. But let's get to CNN real quick. Because CNN should be ashamed of themselves for doing this right here, simply because you cannot say that you are a outlet with journalistic integrity when you are so biased that you won't even include that the two men were Muslim terrorists who admitted to being associated to ISIS. You know you're a disingenuous person when Mamdani wouldn't even mention that part. Why? CNN wouldn't even mention that part. Why? They're intentionally covering up information to try to convince you of something that's not true. There is is his name Jack Mack? Jack Mack had something pretty interesting to say. Wrote a clip.
CNN's now infamous tweet about two Pennsylvania teenagers, terrorists, enjoying the city during an abnormally warm weather day has been deleted. A post regarding the two individuals arrested for throwing homemade bombs outside of New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's home failed to reflect the gravity of the incident, thereby breaching the editorial standards we require for all of our reporting. It has therefore been deleted. Don't you just hate it when your life drastically changes in less than an hour on a normal day enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather? Don't you just hate that? By the way, the article's still up. Two Pennsylvania men, they're not teenagers anymore, I guess, on Saturday followed the route taken by thousands as they crossed the George Washington Bridge into New York City. But less than an hour later, their trajectory took a dark turn.
Like, that's some intentional stuff there. Somebody intentionally wrote an article evading the truth, using fluff words to fluff the story out of you knowing that these were Islamic terrorists. These were people inspired by Islam and inspired by ISIS. The same type of ideology that inspired that nut job that was in Austin that went into a nightclub and decided to shoot it up. At what point are we going to be truthful in identifying that the ideology of Islam is problematic? And I'm not saying that every person that believes in Islam, every person that's Allah, that love Allah and all this other stuff is somehow a terrorist. But what I'm saying is that there's a target on the back of people who have that religious ideology. And I'd rather for us to be overly cautious about people who believe in that religion than for us to get caught with our pants down, getting killed in a terrorist attack. And it's not fair. Life ain't fair. But the people that believe in your book, we don't see that happening in the Bible. We don't see that happening in the Torah. Like, you have to take accountability that your book is dangerous. For whatever reason, your book and the ideology in Islam is creating terror across the world and danger. I can't think of another group or religious ideology that breeds more terrorism than Islam. Maybe there is, maybe there's something else, but when you look in the Middle East, who's beheading people and taking over cities and berating women, and not just berating them, I mean, killing them, throwing gays out buildings. What religion is doing that? Now, of course, there's people in the religion that are not, but that's the only religion that's doing stuff like this. The Jews ain't doing it. Christians around the world aren't doing it. Mormons that go on mission trips aren't doing it. So at some point, you got to take responsibility for the ideology of Allah Akbar, all right? Let's get to Mamdani having dinner with another Allah Akbar. And Stella Inger or Stella Escobedo she had an incredible take, and I'm going to start using her as news because this is real news. These other people are fluff. Stella, take it away.
Tell me we're being punked. Please tell me. In light of what happened in New York City, the attempted terrorist attack, Mayor Mamdani is now posting about Mahmoud Khalil. Khalil, who bravely supports Hamas. Never forget who he surrounds himself with. He's claiming he's courageous and that he was detained for protesting what he calls a genocide in Palestine. And Mamdani marked the 1-year anniversary of Khalil's detention by hosting him at Gracie Mansion. I want you also to never forget that one of Mahmoud Khalil's attorneys was Ramzi Qassem, who also defended an Al-Qaeda terrorist, who Mamdani, by the way, hired to serve as New York City's chief legal counsel.
And this attempted terrorist attack, which they plan now, we know to be bigger than the Boston Marathon, that it might be investigated locally. And people were coming out and saying, no, we can't trust the Mamdani administration. We see who is in his administration. I mean, he has a lawyer, Ramzi Qassem, hired by Mamdani. He's the NYC's chief legal counsel. He's basically charged with, crafting NYC legal policy. By the way, he defended an Al-Qaeda terrorist. He defended Mahmoud Khalil. These are the kinds of people who are in Mamdani's administration, which is no surprise to you and I why Mamdani has come out and been like, oh, it's the white people.
Right. Well, he wanted people to think that he was the victim.
Right.
The implication was that somehow someone showed up there was a white supremacist rally outside of Gracie Mansion, and that someone showed up with some sort of bomb, and he and his wife live there. Well, but it had nothing. The bomber is way more on your side, brother, than he is on the side of the, let's say, average American. Right? You guys probably have a very similar outlook on the world.
And I'm glad they brought that up because I want to bring this to your attention before I go to the next story, which is some updates from Iran. P. Hexteth has something to say. General Dan Kane, I think that's how you say his name, has something to say. But I wanted to be very clear. He did frame it as if he was the victim. The fact that somebody showed up to protest and the white supremacists who did that has no connection or bearing on these terrorists. Ain't that funny? That's like somebody saying these leftist nut jobs showed up to protest me, but an actual conservative did a mass shooting. That's like, you get what I'm saying? Like the person that's closely related to you is the one that committed a terroristic crime, and the other people are just mad and wearing T-shirts and yelling. These people tried to commit a terrorist attack. These people didn't. It's like being a conservative and a conservative do something crazy and you just avoid it. You don't even want to say they're conservative. That's because you align POS. All right, let's get to some of the updates from Iran. But before we get there, I want to tell you guys about Shenergy. If you're looking for clean, pure energy, let me tell you what, I got a testimony. I should have her do it. Someone that works with us in the warehouse literally told me today and said, hey, that night drink, that's the best. I'm addicted to it. It is amazing every night. She said that when she take other stuff that has melatonin in it, about 2 or 3 days go by and it kind of wears off, and you need more and more and more, and it's not really a good sustainable supplement. She said she take Shenergy every night and had the best sleep of her night. 5 minutes in, she said she could feel it and she get incredible sleep. Literally, the company that helps us market, the owner of the company is just a diehard Shenergy night guy. He said he's a customer for life. I'm telling you, go look at the reviews if you don't believe me. If you want good, sustainable energy during the day, great sleep at night, you got to go to ShenergyLife.com. You can scan the QR code if you're watching this on TV, or you can go to ShenergyLife.com. Link is in the bio or the description section, whichever way you want to slice it. All right, let's get to some updates from Iran. All right. Let the general take it away. Roll it.
Since our last update, CENTCOM continues to make progress across the southern flank. To date, they've struck more than 5,000 targets. U.S. Strategic Command bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound GPS-penetrating weapons on deeply buried missile launchers across the southern flank. We also have struck several one-way drone factories to get at the heart of their autonomous capability. And of course, alongside our regional partners along the southern flank, continue to execute intercepts against one-way attack drones using fighters and attack helicopters. Our strikes mean we've made significant progress in reducing the number of missile and drone attacks out of Iran. Ballistic missile attacks continue to trend downward, 90% from where they've started, and one-way attack drones have decreased 83% since the beginning of the operation. A testament to our air defenders and our air defense systems, and as I said, our partners in the region continue to do great work as well.
Thank you, General. I mean, it sounds like a good update to me. It sounds like something we should all be proud of. When I say proud of, meaning that if we're going to engage, we need to be winning, and that's exactly what we're doing. Pete Hegseth had something to say, and I can't wait to get to what Scott Jennings had to say about in defense of Pete Hegseth. For some of these nut job idiots who have never served in the military, trying to tell a man who's decorated in the military that he's not qualified. That's the craziest stuff ever. Anyway, let Pete go ahead and roll it.
Today will be, yet again, our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes. Intelligence more refined and better than ever. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles they've been capable of firing yet. Just the bifurcation, just the trend lines that we talked about on our first briefing. You see, this is not 2003. This is not endless nation building under those types of quagmires we saw under Bush or Obama. It's not even close. Our generation of soldier will not let that happen again, and nor will this president, who very clearly ran against those kinds of never-ending, nebulously scoped missions. Those days are dead. Instead, we're winning decisively with brutal efficiency, total air dominance, and an unbreakable will to accomplish the president's objectives on our timeline.
Now, how is somebody mad at that? Like, you just heard from the General Dan Kane, that articulated very clearly what our mission has been and how effective it has been. Pete Hegseth is going and saying we're not going to get into endless wars. There's no intent to get in endless wars. And I guarantee you people that are serving in the military right now are not going to allow their commanders to have them in endless wars, because those same people that were, enlisted back at 9/11, many of those people are commanders and they're up in the higher ranks. They're not going to go through that again, and they're not going to endure that. And nor does President Trump have the intentions to do that. He said he's not. He declared that he has zero intentions of doing it, but it's not even a thought process that he would, because he's not showing any signs and symptoms of doing that. And that's what I would argue. Let's hear about these sleeper cells, because I think this is important too, that a lot of people are not thinking about. When we're talking about the Islamic terrorists that exist overseas, a lot of these people come in through the southern border and other borders, and they get over here, they get radicalized, or they came over already radicalized, just sitting and waiting. Sarah Adams, I had an interview with Sarah Adams, and she said that there's 7,000, thousands of these people, these cells around the country that are waiting to be deployed. And if we're not aware of this and we're not thinking this through, we're sleeping under a rock. Here is, I don't know this gentleman's name, but he's on Fox News talking about the sleeper cells. Wrote a clip.
The U.S. intercepted encrypted messages coming out of Iran in the wake of the death of the supreme leader. ABC News reporting an alert went out to law enforcement about these encrypted messages, warning about the possibility of a sleeper cell attack inside the U.S. President Trump addressed those potential concerns.
Activated any sleeper cells inside the U.S.?
They've been trying for a long time. We've been very much on top of it. We're watching every single one of them. Yeah, we know a lot about them. The biggest problem we have is the Democrat shutdown. We know a lot about them, but the shutdown doesn't allow us to do what we have to do.
Let's go to clip 105 of Donald Trump speaking as well on this topic. We got 3 clips that we're going to play of Donald Trump. I think they're important and necessary. And then we're going to go to Scott Jennings and his defense of Donald Trump in the Iranian war, which I think is superb. Let's roll Donald Trump's first clip.
We're crushing the enemy in an overwhelming display of technical skill and military force. Iran's drone and missile capability is being utterly demolished. The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it? In fact, I got a little upset with our people. I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. Top of the line. I said, why did we just capture the ship? We're going to use it. Why did we sink them? They said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, they like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably true. But think of it. We knocked out 46. It actually took 3.5 days. Their terrorist leaders are gone. We're counting down the minutes until they will be gone. Think of it. We had leaders, and they're gone. Then we had new leaders, and they're gone. And now nobody has any idea who the people are that are going to be the head of the country, and will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated.
Great. Next clip. Roll it.
No, I don't want to brag, but you know, they've said this about a lot of things. No other president could do some of this shit I'm doing. No other president.
Time out.
The things I'm doing.
Bruh. Bruh. Donald Trump, bruh. This is why we love this dude, man. I just love the fact that he just say it how it is. Thank God. I know that's why y'all love watching me too, because he literally says the things that we're thinking. We're sick of people reading a script and saying what they think somebody ought to think that they should say because they're in a certain position or whatever the case may be. Ain't nobody care about that, man. Just tell me how EI is. Tell me what it is. Tell me how you really feel about the thing. And if you got to say a little bit of something here and there to get the point across, do it. Roll that clip back because I want to see it from the very beginning. Roll it.
No, I don't want to brag, but you know, they've said this about a lot of things. No other president could do some of this shit I'm doing. No other president. The things I'm doing, nobody else was going to do it. They say it all the time. Sir, could you do this? You're the only one can do it. But we got it done, and we got the countries to all go along. Because I said, if you don't do it, I'm going to raise your tariffs to 200%, to 150%, and that's 10 times more than I'm asking for. And every single one, if it took me 5 minutes, that was like a long time. I was doing badly with that one.
Don't y'all just love Trump? I got one more clip of Trump talking about, will the war be over soon? You said that's repeated in the views clip? We're going to scratch the view clip. Let's just go to that one. Oh, it's deleted. Okay, never mind. We don't have that clip. Let's go to Scott Jennings real quick because I think Scott Jennings had a lot of good stuff to say about this whole Pete Hegseth and Iran war. And that fool, Bakari Sellers, is the stupidest guy on TV. That's the stupidest guy on TV. Like, I just wish that, like, pull the fools up on the screen. I just wish that we were able to sit at a round table like this and have a real discussion. Like literally put out something in good faith and the other person put what they think out in good faith and we will agree to disagree in good faith. These people are so stupid and shiesty and evil that they have a script that they have to say no matter how stupid it is. Listen to Bakari Sellers is the black guy with the afro, and the only reason he got an afro because he want to be extra black. Put him on, roll the clip.
Lloyd Austin was former Commander General of CENTCOM, 4-star general, Pete Hegseth, Fox News host.
Yes, very different resumes.
Very different resumes.
Decorated military.
Very different.
Can somebody tell him how to say Pete Hegseth's name right? I like you to know what he was talking about. Pete Hegseth? I think he called it Pete Hegseth or something. Pete Hegseth. Come on, brother. Roll the clip.
Different resumes.
Decorated.
There is no one.
Can you not acknowledge that the man served?
The man served. Yes, the man served. He
highly decorated.
Not in combat.
Not in combat.
Hegseth?
He wasn't in combat.
Iraq and Afghanistan.
I mean, the man served our country.
And he, I think, had a Bronze Star for his
But
service.
my point that I want to get back to is that there is a level of competence that the American public is thirsting for that they are not getting from Pete Hegseth. And we're seeing that. When he is up there.
Transparency.
transparency. That's all we want. We're talking about 160 children that were killed. All we want is an honest answer that comes from you and the President of the United States. This isn't politics. This isn't Lindsey Graham versus Cory Booker. This is just tell us what we're doing, because we have 7 soldiers, as Abby corrected me last segment. We have 7 soldiers who've died. We have 160 children who've died. We understand that this is the fog of war. However, we want a level of competence from Pete Hegseth that we're not getting.
I do think that we are
What
going
is
to
incompetent
know.
about this military operation, in your opinion, in your expert opinion?
I don't. First of all, I never served, and let me let me
You're
start
quick
by
to say
saying
this
that.
is incompetent.
No,
I
think-
want to know
no,
what's
no,
incompetent.
No. I think Pete Hegseth is incompetent.
Why?
I think
What's happening?
Because he has an inability to tell the truth.
What did he say? What did he say that was false?
Because we know what happened.
No, we don't. They're investigating.
Well, I mean, look, there is.
Wait a minute,
I think,
whoa.
hold on.
No.
Hold on.
I want all of you all to go out on a limb right now and tell me that the United States, even during the fog of war, did not kill those kids. Tell me they didn't.
I don't know. They're investigating it, and I'm willing to abide by the results.
I do think,
as she
I
said,
do
that's
think
the
that
right
it,
answer.
Now, what he's talking about is that there was a bomb that hit a building next to a school that kids were in. And the crazy thing is that this is the same tactic that they use. It's like a playbook, or they're mentally ill. One of the two, and their mental illness make them say stupid stuff. They did the same thing in Gaza. All these kids died. All these kids, as if there's a facility full of kids and Israel knew and they bombed that place. Just like this situation that was unfortunate. Some people say it was an Iranian missile that went astray that hit the school with the kids in it. Some people are saying that America hit a target and as residual effect of that target being blown up, that it also affected a school where kids were in it. There's no school that I know of there's kids and no adults in there. So why is it the focus just kids? Because they want to be salacious and get to your emotionalism. Anybody dying is bad, but nobody's targeting a building full of little kids like it's intentional. And anyway, I just, it bothers me because I see them doing their little thing. All right, let's get to the next clip of Pete Hegseth. Not Pete Hegseth, but Scott Jennings.
I think the most important thing Hegseth said, and all Americans need to know and understand this, the difference between us and the enemy, we do not target civilians. When it happens, and it will happen in war, it is tragic and it is not meant to be. The enemy targets civilians. They hide behind civilians. They fund people who set up bases in hospitals so that civilians are in the way. That's not what we do. An investigation needs to occur. All the truth needs to be told. And we will give transparency to the American people. But there's 2 parts of this war, our part and the enemy. The enemy targets civilians. Look what they're doing all over the region, firing missiles intermittently.
All right. Let's get to some other videos that I got. We're going to get to Stephen A. Smith in a minute. I think we're running out of time. I'm going to have to get to Stephen A. Smith. Dak Prescott I want to talk about. We may have to skip Dummy of the Day. Maybe I'll hit them all. Maybe we'll figure out a way to get all the clips. Y'all in the comment section, do you think we need to hit all the clips? I'm going to try to run through this pretty fast. Let's skip the View in the hype video. I want to get to I want to get to Dak Prescott real quick while I got 15 minutes left. This story right here is creates an incredible discussion. So allegedly, or it's not allegedly, I think it's officially on the record now that Dak Prescott and his fiance broke up allegedly after he did not or she did not agree with a prenup. This is where it gets dicey at. This is my opinion on prenups. And I see both sides of it. I'm not going to sit here and act like, because I don't have a $80 million contract and I met my wife after I was already rich. That's not my story. So I don't really know what arrangement they had. But this is my opinion on prenups. If I got to get a prenup, I should not be getting married. That's just the way it is. If I feel like I need to get a paper that tells me what's going to happen in case this other thing happens, which means that the woman that I'm with, I don't want her to have the stuff that I built. I don't need to marry you. We could just date. We could just be in a relationship with no marriage. We can agree to marry each other outside of government restraints. We can still go by a courthouse and get married, or not go by a courthouse, but do it in the church. You don't need to get the government involved. If I'm willing to get the government involved, that means that I love this woman enough that all of my wealth becomes her wealth. Now, I do understand the weirdness of it, which I would add a caveat, which I don't even think should be a part of the prenup. It should actually be a caveat in the law that if someone cheats, they have no access to nothing. That means that I don't care who's the breadwinner, the male or the female. If one of y'all cheat on the other, which cause a divorce, or you abuse the other, I'm talking about physical evidence, abuse, criminal behavior. I'm not talking about because you don't get your way and you say that the man abused you or a woman abused you because you want to be a dirtbag and she ain't putting up with your stuff no more. That's not abuse. I'm saying physical abuse, something crazy like that, or if somebody cheat on you, they should have access to nothing. That means they get no alimony, they get no child support obligation, no obligation. And then the person who did not cheat get full custody of the kids unless there's a reason that they shouldn't, meaning that there's some unhealthy lifestyle or criminal behavior going on. Then you wouldn't need a prenup whatsoever. Because if a woman just don't want to be with you no more because you're a dirtbag, there should not be, you can't just withhold money from them. So I'll say this, and I'm going to play the clip of Dak Prescott. But my whole thing is this. It's two sides to it. In the position that I'm in, when me and my wife don't need a prenup. My wife is entitled to everything that we have built together. And neither one of us is going to go out and step out on each other. And if we do, or not we, if she do or whatever, because I ain't never going to do nothing like that. And she'll tell you the same thing. But if somehow it happens and we get a divorce, then it is what it is. My wife was here when I built all this stuff. And there has to be some reasonableness in that. But I do see the risk that men do feel because you get a woman. Let me just give you an example. And this is why I think Dak Prescott made the right decision. If you're in a relationship with a woman and you're faithful and you're successful and she been plotting against you the entire time to get you so she could then cheat on you with the personal trainer or somebody and take you for half of your money that she didn't even help you build. I see why a person would want to do that. But I think if you are in that scenario, don't get married. Just never get married. If I was a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and I hadn't been married and I built that level of success, I just wouldn't get married to nobody. I just wouldn't do it. I don't need to be dealing with you. If I don't trust you, I shouldn't be with you. And I don't want to take the risk. So I'm just not going to get married. If I amass that much wealth, well, I'm afraid somebody getting half of my stuff is going to be a problem. And let me just add this caveat too, because I think this is important to say. The reason why I'm not totally against prenups is because it is fair for people to protect themselves in case such and such happens. It's just the way it is, man, especially when you're dealing with that type of money. You have insurance that you put on everything else. You have a life insurance. You have, when your I can't think today, but I want to say an obituary, but that's not an obituary. But when you die, I'm trying to think of the name. Your will and testament, or whatever they call it. So you set up that in case something happens, you have it. Life insurance, in case something happens, you have it. Business insurance, in case something happened, you have it. Contracts, you write a contract. In case you breach the contract, this is what happens if you breach the contract. And so a marriage being defaulted to the government is a dangerous thing because the government is going to you if you're a man. They are going to you without consent, just so you know. And so if you're going to sign a government contract, then you probably need to have caveats in your contract. Because if you don't put the language in there, the government going to put the language in there. And that language is going to you. I'm telling you. I want y'all to know that. Same thing when you have kids with somebody you're not married to. They are going to you in court. They don't care. The man they gonna screw you every time. It's never gonna be fair to you ever. Maybe roll a dice. Maybe once in a while a guy get a fair shake on it. But all that child support stuff is all meant up you. especially if you're successful. You're a dirtbag, nobody cares. You get to be. I'm going to say this and I'm going to shut up. This bothered me. I just have to say this. It seems like to me that this stuff only happens to good men. Like to be honest, I think good men are the only ones that have to worry about this stuff, to be honest. The dirtbag, sleazy, cheating on their wife, cheating on their girlfriend men, they never have to worry about that. These women will stick with them and they won't be paying no alimony or nothing. Women just stick with them. If you're a good man, it's like you attract women that want to take advantage of you. I'm not saying all the time, but I'm saying it happens more often than not. Just like fathers. If you're a good dad, and you got a kid with somebody that you're not married to, your baby mama is going to make hell for you your whole life. She's going to try to make hell if you're a good man. If you a dirtbag and you got kids by 5 and 6 women and you don't even take care of your kids, they don't do nothing. Like, they ain't never going for you. I know somebody right now, and I don't know their details, got 10 kids with 10 kids. And I swear he ain't paying no child support to none of them kids. 10 kids. He can see them all the time. Baby mamas let him see the kids all the time. Ain't got no problem. 10 kids, they treat them nice. All my friends that are good dads that was stupid enough to have a kid with somebody they weren't married to, including myself, all my friends that are good dads, they baby mamas are insane. They treat them terribly. They can't see the kid today, can't see the kid tomorrow, mad at you, trying to put stuff in your face with exes and other boyfriends and want to put you on child support, then want you to pay way more than you should, then want to leverage the kid against you. All this stuff happened to all the good men that I know. Then they turn the kids against you, and the kids hate you. And then when they get grown, they come live with you. So, I mean, like, all my good dads is like complain about this. Like, why? It's crazy to me. I was just thinking about it. Like, I don't know any good man that did. And let me tell you why this happens. I'm gonna shut up. It's because when you see a good person, because men aren't the only one. Men are stupid too. So it's not just all women. But baby mamas, it's a thing. It's a psychological reality, and the system lets them do whatever they want to do. So, but when you see a good person, I got a lot. I should do this in the post show too. I may continue this in the post show. I got to say this. When you see a good, like, co-parenting don't exist. Let me tell y'all this. Like, you got to listen. Co-parenting don't exist unless two people are still effing with each other. It is a rare case, like probably less than 0.1% of two people that are actually good friends that have kids together and they get along. And they co-parent. It's like 1% or less than 1%. The other situation is that it's always conflicts. Because if you have a good parent, the other parent is terrible. Unless if that wasn't the case, they'd be married. They'd be in a relationship. I'm telling you. And the people that are co-parenting, a lot of times they still messing with each other. That's why they can co-parent so good, because they still either got something for each other or they still messing around on the side. They be married to another person and they still doing a little thing on the side. That's why we get along. I don't have any problem with that person. Because y'all still screwing. I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you what happens is as a, and I'm not saying this is me, but when if you co-parenting, you're doing what the other parent wants you to do, y'all get along. That's why you see good co-parenting. When you playing house and you get mess around every now and again and you do that, then they cool with you. You put a standard in place, now everything is going off the rails. Now you can't see your kids and they playing games. I just had to throw that out there because I know a lot of dads understand what I'm talking about. So back to the Dak Prescott theology, and then we're going to go to the post show. Men, please, make sure you protect yourself. Because I don't know what it's like to be a woman, but I know what it's like to be a man. Do not have children with people you're not married to. It never works out right. It's a headache until the kid's either 18 or somebody dead. It's a headache. So don't have children out of wedlock. It ain't the kid's fault. The kid is whatever. It's your fault. Now you got to deal with it. Don't blame the kid. It's your fault. Don't do that. And don't marry a woman that you do not trust. If you think that at some point this woman will betray you, don't even marry her. Don't even waste your time doing that. If you really want to be in a good standing with God, you can marry a person outside of the government. Like, one thing that I wish that I could change as far as the world and the way people think is I wish people can get married outside of the government. You come up with your own terms, you get married. The government is only in place to you. That's all the government is. So when you go down to the courthouse or wherever you get married, you get a marriage certificate and it's recognized through the government, they are just there to you. Because as soon as you leave that woman or something happens, you lose your kids and you're going to have to pay half of your money while she's sitting on the couch with another man with his feet up, and your kids are getting abused or not taken care of, and the court don't care unless you are eyewitness and you got evidence. But you can know your kids ain't being treated right, and they don't care. It's just to screw you. I wish people would get married outside of the government. You can do it at the church. I wish the church could marry you and y'all could recognize it in a legal document between you and that other person. Because the government has been screwing people for years, man. I don't know nobody that say, yeah, I got a divorce and everything worked out just fine. No, you got to get lawyers. There's family lawyers. They just getting rich off of people. Rich. Go to court. I'll tell y'all something real quick, and I'm going to shut up. You can go to court. Let me tell y'all, family law and family court is a scam. You can go to court and agree in mediation and still pay almost $100,000. I paid almost $100,000 in lawyer fees when we agreed in mediation. And they told me if you go outside of mediation, go to court, you're going to spend probably another $50,000. How is that even a thing? Put Dak Prescott on the page. So, Dak, I just want to say this to you. Even though I don't like the way the Cowboys ain't winning and they never going to make it to the Super Bowl for some reason, and everybody choking the playoffs, but Dak, I tell you what, man, you did this one right. If that woman don't want to sign a prenup with you, don't marry her. Y'all can still be friends. Because if a woman at this point in your life don't respect that you got that much money and she can't get half, and this is just me hypothetically speaking, I didn't see the prenup, then you don't need to be with that woman. Because her idea is to get you for all that money. All right, y'all, we got the post show coming up in about 40 seconds. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share the videos. And we'll see, for the members, we'll see you post-show in about 30 seconds, all right? So I love you guys. I appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one. Hold the phone.